Welcome to Moist Nougat. I am the kid.
And I'm Dana Lee.
But our topic this week is the coolest places we've been.
Mm-hmm.
And we traveled the country for many years, so
Yes.
we got to go to some cool places.
Sure did.
But these weren't all places because we've said before, a lot of times when we were out on the road, you didn't have time to go see some of the things
Right.
that you wanted to see,
Yeah.
like the Grand Canyon or wherever, things like that.
Yeah.
So these are just places I pulled out of my ass, basically. What's the first one you got on your list?
The first one I've got is in if anybody's familiar with New Paltz, New York, it's in the Adirondacks. So that's part of the mountainous range that runs up the East Coast,
Right.
which is what, the Catskills?
I believe so, yeah.
The Catskill Mountains, is that? Okay. Yeah, it's a place called Mohawk House, and I think their last name, a couple of brothers, very wealthy. I thought their last name was Smiley, actually Smiley.
Yeah.
And I could be, of course,
Sounds like a friendly bunch.
Oh yeah, they're I could be full of crap on this because I'm drawing it from history, and the old brain fails me now and then. But Mohawk House,
It's actually Frown.
the
The Frown family.
The Frowns. It's the Frowns. They hate everyone. So there's a quarry there. So they found this quarry. It had since been, pulled out, everything that they could pull out of it. I don't know if it was marble or whatever. And anyways, it had been flooded. So now you've got a beautiful quarry. It's good size too. They flooded it. So it looks like this beautiful lake with rock walls.
Right. Looks like you're in the mountains.
Yeah. And there actually is a significant rise right there. And they built like a tower on it. It's kind of cool. And if you climb up it, you're in between the walls, and there's handhelds for you to get up through it. Well, when your mom and I got married, my sister, unbeknownst to us, had paid for, I think it was 4 or 5 days at Mohawk House. And we were in one of the rooms on the corners of Mohawk House. Mohawk House, they call it a house. It's mammoth.
Yeah.
And it's gorgeous. And it was built at the turn of the century. And it's just incredibly beautiful. Well, on the corners were turrets. And we were in one of the turrets. And it was just a super cool room. You had to dress for dinner. Suit and tie.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And but it was fun.
I'd be shit out of luck. I'd be running to Taco Bell because I don't have a suit and tie.
But no, it was actually fun.
No, it would be. But
Yeah,
I literally don't own a suit.
I mean, you felt like you were back. I mean, just being in the place and looking around, and it's so turn of the century. So I wish I had done my homework a little bit and had a few really good facts I could point out. But we had fun there. We walked around the quarry. We did climb up through the labyrinth. And there was actually, once you got up through the labyrinth, you could get to the tower, but there was an expanse of about 3 feet wide. And you had to clear it because it was a good 60, 70-foot drop down through the rocks.
Yeah.
So if you were going to be on that trail and decide that you wanted to make it that way to that tower to go up in it, you had to clear that.
Yeah. Don't miss.
I jumped, and your mom was like, "Oh no. And I said, "Give me your." I reached across. I said, "Give me your hands," and I said, "I'm not letting go. And when you go, I'm pulling you with all my might." And of course, I got her across, no problem.
Then you fell over the ledge on the other side.
And then I fell over, and I died, and it was sad, but. Anyhow, it's a very cool place.
That sounds like a cool place. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, Mohonk, Mohonk.
The Smiley family.
The Smileys. smiling all the time. We're rich. Hey, I'm smiling.
The one that made just to backtrack for a second, you were saying I didn't get all the facts about it. Facts, fuck facts.
Yeah, I'll make up my own.
Actually, that was when it was starting to become overwhelming for me. Me going back through and looking up everything that we screwed up and looking up the actual facts and stuff.
Right.
I started to get a little burned out because between the editing and fact checking and all that, because the fact checking wasn't all that much fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's like, who cares? It's just we're just telling stories about places we've been.
Yeah, it's like being in history class in school. It's like, can this get any more boring?
Like one of the coolest places I've ever been is Niagara Falls. And that time I took the barrel over.
Oh yeah, the barrel.
Check your facts. Check your facts.
The barrel.
I went over in a barrel.
Naked man in a barrel going over the falls.
But I had a hard time with this one. I couldn't remember if it was Williamsburg or Gettysburg, but I'm pretty sure it was Williamsburg, Colonial Williamsburg in Virginia.
Yeah.
I remember my grandparents took me.
Yeah.
And speaking of my grandparents, I got one other that I'll add to my list. But I'm just, like the whole cowboy, I'm really into history. I thought it was really cool to go through and because it's, you go through and there's the blacksmith and, all the, and it's actually like a colonial town.
Oh, it is. It's great.
And there's people working at every place. You can go in there and ask them questions and it was so long ago. I don't remember a ton about it.
Right.
I just remember I had to get one of the triangle hats.
Oh yeah.
They got me one of those hats so I could wear one of those around.
Sure.
And I'd wear one of those now if I could find one.
You mean just out everywhere?
Yeah, I don't know what the actual name of that hat is.
I have no idea.
What do they call it? A 3-point hat or?
Oh, maybe, but definitely mid 1700s or early 1700s.
Yeah, but I thought that was really neat. Going there.
Now Gettysburg, we've been past it 100 times,
right?
And we, even as a kid. Oh, I will say, we were coming back from Florida. And my sister and I were giving my parents a hard time about, we want to go to Gettysburg. It was February, and it was awful out. So my father looked at my mom, and he says, hey, they want to go to Gettysburg? Okay, let's go to Gettysburg. It was like 20 miles away, and Diane and I are wide-eyed. We're like,
20 degrees.
This is fantastic. We pulled in. He pulled into a parking lot, put it in park, and said, okay, you guys, go ahead, jump out. And your mom and I will meet you in that building. We'll be right there. So we got out of the car. The wind was howling. It was so freaking cold. I don't know. It could have very easily have been below zero.
Well, it probably was in February.
We didn't get 3 steps. And we're like, yeah. And we got back in the car. He said, okay, here's the deal. He turns around and looks at us and said, if you think it's that hard just to go and get in that building, look around here. What if you want to go look at some cannons? You know where they are? They're way out in that field.
Right.
So does this look like something you want to do right now? Did it feel like something you want to do?
Nope.
I mean, he's a smart guy. He's like, okay, I got him.
So if you haven't listened before, probably the next 6 places he goes is going to be Florida. Well, we did our road trip, and you went all through Florida.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
That's what I said. We've talked about some of these places that we've been before, but it's under a different topic. Mine is a little off the beaten path for this next one. I went with my sister and brother-in-law and my brother-in-law's parents. I actually rode my motorcycle up. They were already up there at this one place. And I came up and I stayed overnight there, and then we all left the next day and went up to a place called Babcock State Park in West Virginia.
Oh, yeah?
And very, very rustic cabins.
Uh-huh.
I had to reach out to John this morning because I couldn't remember the name of it.
Oh, no kidding.
And so he texted me back, and then he called me, and we chatted about it for a couple of minutes. And yeah, very, very rustic cabins. He said that the place was built in the 40s during the Depression.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was the kind of place where they come by and they throw they just throw firewood off the truck onto out in front of the cabins, and you have to go out and haul it in.
Right.
No heat.
Right.
And that fireplace is the heat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like
So
I'm
not
just,
a lot of square footage.
no, very very small cabins.
Right.
And Sarah was just little then because I remember I stayed in the same room as Sarah did,
Oh, okay.
and they actually turned the oven on to get some more heat. But I
Oh,
just remember
wow.
sitting in the living room, well, whatever, the main room.
Uh-huh.
I mean, the kitchen was tiny, and they're like I said, they were very very small cabins. But just staying up late, sitting in rocking chairs in front of the fireplace,
Mm-hmm.
keeping the place as warm as long as you could before you went and turned down for the night.
Right.
One of the cool places I got to go was the Meteor Crater in Arizona.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But I unfortunately got there and it was closed. And when I say closed, I don't mean that the hole was filled in. I mean that you actually have to pay to actually go in there and actually see it. And
Oh, gosh.
yeah, so we drove up in there with the van and got out and were up along the fence. And all of a sudden we seen like a park ranger truck heading our way. And we said,
no
all right, we
kidding.
better get out of here. Yeah, I
Oh,
guess
yeah.
it closes at 5 o'clock.
Gosh.
So
yeah. you got a glimpse of it
But I got a
anyways.
glimpse of it. So that was kind of cool
Yeah.
to say that I've actually been to the Meteor Crater.
Yeah, my next one was also San Francisco.
Yeah.
Sure, we got we had chances to go there. Most of the time, we just went down to Pier 39, walked around, wanted to go look at the seals sleeping on
Right.
one of the big docks there.
Hanging out.
Yeah, there was all different kinds of them, all different sizes, and it was interesting to watch them.
Yeah. I'm more inclined to the San Francisco area than the LA area.
Yeah.
Just it was a completely different vibe.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Much more laid
Yeah,
back.
you're in wine country up there in San Francisco in
Yeah.
that area in the Sonoma Valley and
Yeah, Sonoma, Napa. Yep.
LA was just too, I don't know, just too much traffic, too much crazy shit going on.
Yeah.
One of the coolest places I got to go when I was a kid, and growing up, when I was 10 years old, baseball was everything to me. I loved baseball.
Right.
My grandparents took me to Cooperstown, New York, to the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was super cool
Yeah.
to go to the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I've been there.
And it's a neat little town, too.
It is.
What I remember of it.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, just to go through the Baseball Hall of Fame was awesome.
Oh, yeah. Your mom and I went through it. My cousin got married out there. Married married a woman there from Cooperstown. And there's a lake right there, too. Skinny Atlas, maybe?
Yeah.
I think it's called Skinny Atlas Lake.
We stayed in a neat little house that was almost like a cabin.
Yeah.
I remember.
Mm-hmm.
You only remember so much of things when you're that age. But,
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, the Baseball Hall of Fame, I mean, you're seeing the best.
Yeah. And
Through
you
time.
know, I'm still into baseball, but not like I was then.
Right.
I mean, I breathed baseball when I was 10, 11, 12 years old.
Sure. Same thing with juice. When they make juice, it is a sugar content that's on par with a Coke or a Pepsi.
Right.
It goes through the roof.
Well, that's why I don't drink it. It's not healthy.
I mean, that's and like I said, I could easily drink a gallon of it a day. So I'd if I started doing that in a year, I'd probably weigh 300 pounds.
So juice isn't fucking very good for you. Check your facts, people.
Yeah.
We're going to call this one an episode.
Yeah.
Thanks
It's
for
an episode.
listening.
Yeah, thank you.
I am the Kid.
I'm Dan Ali.
Catch you next time.